So I am studying for the GREs, and I'm mostly reviewing the quantitative reasoning section because that's the most work I needed to do in terms of review. And to do that, I picked up the GRE official GRE Quantitative Reasoning practice question set from the ETS. Now, why did I pick up this one? The ETS are the same people who make the test, as indicated right here. And when you go through the practice question sets, or when you go through the book, they give you a lot of practice questions. And then they give you the answer. There's an answer key, and then they give you an overview of how you get to the question. So they explain how to derive the answer. And that's the most important part. Even if you get a question right, I would recommend that you read through the explanation, because the GRE it's not necessarily geared towards what you learned. They're testing, it's just like any other test, standardized test. They're looking for particular things, and if you don't know what those things are, it's very difficult to focus your study habits around that. So obviously you could just know everything and know all the foundations, all of the formulas, have practiced a lot, and you'll do fine, and that's great. But if you're like an average person and you don't remember everything, learning what they are looking for will help you a lot in guiding your focus into studying. So what I learned from reviewing is that they're looking for your understanding of basic foundational concepts and understanding how they can relate when it looks different. So every single one of these, you shouldn't have to do a ton of calculations. You don't have to. Of course, if that's what you're comfortable with, then go for it. But the GRE is timed and each question isn't designed to be answered in a long way. You shouldn't have to do long computations. What they're looking for, it seems like, from what I've been reviewing, is for you to understand how you can simplify things so that you can get to the answer, and the computations should be fairly simple. This book is divided into 7 sections, I believe. This particular one, the practice question set, 7 sections. So the first one is just an overview to tell you how it's timed, how the sections are divided, what to expect. The second section is the content type, and then the third question starts with the content overview and review. So it's Chapter 3 is basic arithmetic, Chapter 4 is algebra, Chapter 5 is geometry, Chapter 6 is data analysis. That's the one that I needed a little bit of review on. And then there's the Chapter 7, which will give you 3 practice question sets. So you'll have all 4 of those types within each one of these practice sets. Personally, I needed to review data analysis because, at least in the United States, after algebra, like Algebra 2, it's like Algebra 1, then Geometry, then Algebra 2. And then after that, you choose whether you want to go into like pre-calculus, calculus, and then higher maths, or if you go into statistics. And I decided to go into pre-calculus, calculus, at higher level maths, but I never took a statistics course. So I had to review things like combinations and permutations, basic statistics and probability. Luckily I had that in my philosophy classes, so that wasn't too bad. Probabilities. So what I recommend this book for is if you have a pretty good understanding of these concepts at like a basic level, but you just need the review. What this book is not good for is to learn these concepts on their own. So there's an appendix, and it gives you a review of everything that they're going to cover. However, it's very brief, and you're not going to get a lot of practice in terms of examples and guiding you through different sorts of ways that a question could be asked. So if you need to learn, I would say, more than one or two of these concepts, I'm sure another book would be able to do that, or get a review. What I did for the combinations and permutations is I did review the review, but I needed more guidance, so I went online to YouTube, and I googled different examples. So via that, I was able to learn the concepts that I needed to know, especially in the combinations and permutations part. That was a little confusing to me, so I definitely needed help, and somebody to explain that to me. Also, for what it's worth, I learn best when I have somebody sitting and explaining to me things in an audio way. So this book is great if you just need an overview and you just need some examples to work through. It's not good for learning the concepts if you haven't dealt with them, or if like you weren't taught well these concepts. It's not gonna be great for that. Yeah. So overall, this is I had the full book with verbal reasoning, and they give you 2 GRE exams plus the CD, which will give you, I think, 2 additional ones to do on the computer in the same format that it's done on the computer at the testing center. That's also great. I just didn't need to do a ton of review for the reading comprehension and verbal reasoning stuff, so I just picked this up. This is what I needed help with, and I recommend it. Yeah, and as I said before, go through the practice questions, and even if you get them right, even if you get the questions right, go to the explanation and see how they're solving for it, and see if you can spot a pattern that they're testing you on. So a lot of these are going to be translate from a figure to an arithmetic or algebraic expression. So you're going to have to do a lot of translations. You're going to have to understand relationships between different formulations of things. So definitely practice that. And YouTube is great. There's a lot of people out there who will work through examples, who have posted different videos explaining different concepts, especially how it pertains to the GRE. So yeah, the resources are out there for you. I think that's it. Thanks.